Hey, business building warrior. Welcome to Silent Sales Machine Radio. I'm so glad you've joined us for today's episode. Hey, if you're listening to this right when it came out, it's the weekend, and that means we've compiled some really cool concepts and ideas and clips from recent conversations in our community with the students who are using the ideas we teach here to build beautiful businesses. This podcast, again, if you're new around here, is committed to sharing the very real stories from the very real people all over the world who are using the content and training from primarily the Proven Amazon course, which is our flagship training course. There's a link to it at silentjimdotcom. So it's the real stories from those people using that training, building beautiful businesses, and that inspires and encourages all of us. But we also have plenty of content and training as well, besides just those interviews and stories from our students. So if you want to hear hundreds of great success story interviews with our students, scroll back in time. Today's episode might be one of those, or it might be some recent clips and updates from a Q&A session with our community. The team puts something interesting together for us pretty much every weekend, and this is our weekend episode. Hey, before we dive into today's content and see what the team's pulled together for us, I want to give you something for free. If you've never read the Silent Sales Machine book, or if you haven't seen the most recent version of it, that's the book that launched this podcast. It's the book behind the 76,000 member free Facebook group as well. By the way, there's a link to that free Facebook group at silentjim.com. That's e-commerce business building warriors like you from all over the world, launching and growing multiple income streams and sharing the strategies that work with an emphasis on Amazon. But the book I want to give you that launched that community and this podcast is called Silent Sales Machine. It's been updated 11 times. You can get it completely free using the link I'm about to give you. Go to silentjim.com/free11. That gets you a free copy of the book. If you've never checked it out before, I strongly encourage it. It's great lessons and insights that I've learned over 20 plus years of earning my only income for our family of 7 online. Multiple streams of income using the internet creatively. I'll show you what doesn't work, and I'll talk about why it doesn't work, and I'll talk to you about the viable opportunities that are available based on where you are right now in your life with the skills and the challenges and the advantages and the lessons that you've learned along the way. Where are you right now? What are you positioned to take advantage of when it comes to building a great income online? I think you'll really like that book. silentjim.com/free11. You can listen to the audio version. Again, no strings attached. We just want to get it into your hands. Well, let's jump over and see what the team has for us on today's episode. Let's jump into a little bit about our community, who I am, and what this group is about, and then we'll get into it. We call this the Jimfomercial portion of our evening. That means if you've been around a while, you've heard me say most of this before, but I try to mix it up a little bit. Hi, my name's Jim. I'm the founder of this Facebook group. We just passed 76,000 members not too long ago, which was a cool milestone for our community. I think we are one of, if not the most active and certainly friendliest and success-filled e-commerce and Amazon seller communities in the world. And we've got a podcast that I think you'd like to check out. If you've never done that before, you can get over to silentjim.com. Just like it says on the screen, click on the podcast button. We've interviewed hundreds of our successful students. A new one just dropped today, new episode. It's all students of the Proven Amazon course, which is our flagship training course for Amazon sellers. There's a link to that at silentjim.com as well. We interview those students. They share their very real stories, their struggles, their ups and their downs, and of course, the victories as well. They give us tips and insights. That's the podcast, completely free. Facebook group, completely free. Podcast, free. If you want to get serious and start making an investment in building a real business that you can be proud of, like we've helped thousands of people do at this point over the past 20 years, Proven Amazon course is the way to go.
Question here. Hey, Uncle Jim, it says, had my first $1,000 month in June, but it's not sustainable because I had to use a lot of discount cards to purchase products. Been doing a lot of storefront stocking and meanwhile, I haven't found any replens that haven't tanked since I found them. Any suggestions? I'm sure the first suggestion is what we just talked about. Keep calm and test more ASINs.
That's right. Keep finding more ASINs. Yes. It's not all about sales and discounts. It's about finding test-worthy ASINs. And if that doesn't make sense to you yet, keep working it. I love that you're doing some storefront stalking. That's a great strategy. Like, what are other sellers selling? What are they selling it for approximately? Don't make the assumption that the price they're selling it for is the only price that the product will sell for. That's where you make a lot of mistakes. And the price tanking thing, it's becoming a bit of a trigger phrase for me as well. It has been, if I'm to be honest, for quite some time, actually. To me, there's no such thing as a permanent price tank, or very, very rarely a permanent price tank. A price tank to me is just an indicator that 3 to 5 months from now, this is going to be a smoking hot ASIN. That's all it is. It's a weight. A tanked ASIN is a weight sign. Add it to your catalog. Check back in 2 to 3 months to see what's happened. If nothing, come back a couple months later to see what's happened. Because think about this logically with me for a second. If something tanks and the price becomes, what would happen, for example, at your local Walmart if they tanked the price of a popular item tonight? Let's say there's some $100 video game and they made the price $5 at Walmart. Everybody would rush to get that product, right? And let's say if they were to do such a thing, after the first 500 people bought it, they raise the price back up to where it's supposed to be, even though there's a line of people. Now, some of those people are going to go away, but a lot of those people are like, we made the trip, we missed the sale, we've wanted it anyway. They're going to go ahead and buy it. That's what happens with the ASINs on Amazon. Is an ASIN will get a whole bunch of attention because the price dropped, and so people will be all over it. Well, then the people who are done losing money on that ASIN stop selling it, and the price crawls back up, but it's still getting all the love from the Amazon algorithm. It's still ranked well. It's still getting a lot of traffic. And now you can hop in at a price that works for you and benefit from it. So to me, a price tank is just an indicator of I need to hold on and wait to buy and send that inventory in for just a little bit longer before I come back and revisit that ASIN. Don't sell it at a loss. Hold it if you have to. Hold your product at home if you have to. Sell it at a winning price for you. With very few exceptions, a tanked ASIN comes back into profitability. As a matter of fact, Kang's whole system, if you go to silentjim.com/the system, great podcast episode with a highly successful student from our community who's killing it, doing a beautiful job. He's built some software, and it's based on the premise that when ASINs tank, we're going to wait until we get indicators that it's coming back up, and then we're going to buy, and we're going to enjoy the ride up. And then when it starts to slide, we're going to stop sitting in inventory, let everyone else have fun with the tanked ASIN. They can sell at a loss and knock themselves out. And then when it starts to come back up, which it inevitably will, we're going to hop on it again. He's built a $3 million, highly profitable, fully automated business around that premise. Right? So tanked ASINs don't scare us. It's just hey, wait a few weeks, wait a couple months. It'll be a good one. And in the meantime, go find more ASINs, right? Very good. What can you add to that, Robin Joy?
Jim, I absolutely agree with that. Tanked ASINs don't scare me at all. In fact, I'm not chasing the buy box anyway in most cases. So I'm holding my price, even if the buy box is going down. That doesn't mean I have to go down with it. Doesn't mean I won't get sales. So agreed.
Absolutely right. Very good.
Next question. Do I actually have Amazon ship my products to Walmart? I'm not sure if Walmart allows, maybe with plain packaging. I'm not sure about that. Do you know, Jim?
I think there are some people doing that, and I think they're doing it successfully. I'm pretty sure. I know there was some trouble, and we don't do this, but there was some trouble with people shopping on Walmart and showing up with an Amazon box. Or vice versa. You don't want that. But if you can do the plain shipping, yeah, you can. But the cleaner way to start off for sure is just send some inventory into Walmart and have Walmart ship it. If you're sending it in Amazon, have Amazon ship it rather than trying to do the fulfillment from what they
channel fulfillment.
The two companies don't like each other, understandably so. They're the two giants battling it out. So as a long-term strategy, I wouldn't bank on them treating the orders from the other guy in a kind fashion. You could like, oops, we lost all those Amazon orders. Sorry, says Walmart, right? Like, I don't know. I'd be a little nervous going too deep on that strategy, to be honest with you. That could be overly cautious, but I tend to be, overly cautious and interpret things for the most cautious possible way, especially when there's potentially hundreds or thousands of people that might be taking the advice to the bank kind of thing. I think logistically it is possible, but I'd use extreme caution.
I agree with that. I would not have a problem sending multi-channel fulfillment to eBay or Facebook Marketplace. Not as comfortable with Walmart for those reasons. I think there's still more to come on that. So just be careful. Send in plain packaging. If you do, I agree. Caution is what we need right there, right now. All right, next, I don't have an LLC or a person keeping my books yet. How crazy is it to set up on Walmart? They wanted an LLC and I wasn't sure what to do. Is that the new training that's coming? I would imagine that's the new training.
In the new Walmart training, I just talked to Joseph about that today. He created these modules for that training about getting started, right? What do you have? What boxes do you have to check? You will need an LLC. Walmart requires that. That's the bad news. The good news is pretty much any lawyer or accountant in your hometown, or anyone you know who does law, legal for businesses or accounting is going to say, yeah, here, go do this. 10 minutes later, pay $75 or pay $40, boom, LLC for your state. It's just not complicated. And ask literally any business lawyer. If your question starts off with, hey, I've been thinking about getting an LLC. Do you think I should? They'll say, stop. They'll stop you mid-sentence and say, yes, get an LLC. Like, you mean I should have 50 LLCs protecting everything I own? Yes, you should have. Like you can't go overboard on LLCs. There's literally no disadvantage, and there's huge potential legal protection advantages to doing so. Yeah, be smart to do it. Why not? Right? Stick your different business entities, limited liability corporation. It's just it's just a little firewall between your personal assets and the responsibilities of your business. It's just a lot harder to get to you if a lawsuit ever were to happen. So Walmart likes to see that people are building in little firewalls into their businesses, and that's a requirement they have. Can't hurt you. If you want help with that, and you don't have a good local accountant or lawyer or whatever, and you want help from our team, we can certainly help you with that. Go to humminbird.com, HUMN, 4 letters, and then the word bird, humminbird.com. We got some legal and tax advisors in there, and I think they can help you set up an LLC. They certainly help with trademarks and that sort of thing. It shouldn't be a real big deal for you to pull off, though. You can probably Google it and figure it out yourself for the most part. It's not anywhere near as complex as getting, say, a trademark. So there you go. Yep. And Walmart absolutely does require that, by the way. We can confirm that.
All right. About a month and a half ago, I sent in 2 units to test an ASIN. It says they're available for sale. However, always my units, it also says my units are not Prime eligible. Should I contact Amazon or give it more time? I said there's a couple of reasons that could be. One of them is just because it's not Prime for you doesn't mean it's not Prime for somebody across the country because it happens to be closer to them. So that's a possibility. The other thing is that it might be just outside. Amazon will tell you that you're not Prime eligible if your price is too high, which means nothing to me. They give me that information all the time because I'm always almost exclusively above the buy box these days. What do you think, Jim?
Yeah, and the only other thing I can think of is they're just really slow sometimes. I mean, yeah, so you're like, it's been a month, and I'm like, oh yeah, wait a Q4, buddy, right? Yeah. I mean, if you want something to be guaranteed on time, available for sale via FBA Prime delivery in the warehouse, settled into place for Christmas shoppers, say mid-November, you better have it sent in by the beginning of October, because otherwise you could end up waiting 6-8 weeks for it to become fully available sitting on a warehouse shelf. Now, the nice thing about sending FBA as Amazon starts to trust you is they'll make it, what's it called? Inventory Head Start. What's the name of that program?
The in-stock Head Start program.
In-stock Head Start, where as soon as I say, hey, Amazon, I just dropped 3 widgets in a box and I'm shipping it today, Amazon trusts you and says, okay, we believe you. You said 3 units. We're putting them up for sale right now as a delivery date possibility for 2 weeks from now for the customer. So it says, if you've ever seen these, Amazon Prime delivery 3 weeks from now. What's that? Well, it's something that got dropped in a box today. It's going to get shipped from Tampa to Dallas, and they're going to divide it into 3 different shipments and send one to Oklahoma City and another one to Spokane, and another one to LA. And this guy sitting in LA right now is like, okay, I've got one coming, but it's going to be 2 weeks before it's here. But I still like the price, so I'm going to go ahead and buy it. Right? You don't have to do anything as a seller. I'm just giving you a peek behind the logistics. Amazon's gotten smart saying, hey, if we know all this inventory is coming, why can't we sell it before it gets here? If people are willing to wait. And that's what they do with that, the inventory Head Start, right? So you'll see sometimes where your stuff is Prime eligible right now, and you just dropped it in the box 10 minutes ago, but Amazon knows it's coming, so they put it up for sale. Yeah, so Amazon is really smart at times, and they're really slow at times and irrational at times. But if you give it time, typically they work just about everything out the way you thought it would. It just takes some time. So I'd say give it another week, maybe, see what's up. At 6 weeks, I would start to open a case probably. Or you can open a case now and say, hey, what's up? Where's this inventory at? And they'll tell you.
The other thing I would suggest is get some more ASINs in behind them, because when those do become available, you don't want to wait that time again to get some more ASINs. That's right. Test more ASINs. Keep sending them in. Once they become available, they'll start being available one after the other. But if you wait, then you got to go through that whole process again. Fill up that pipeline.
All right. Using Kang's system, is it similar to Jimmy's that watches ASINs for you? Yeah. So we're comparing right now Replin's dashboard in the question in the chat here versus the system. And there's some overlap there. Certainly there is some overlap there. But here's something philosophically that's very different between the two. Kang is committed to integrating Keepa fully into his software. And there's a handful of extreme differences. This is one of them that's the most significant in my vantage point. Replin's dashboard doesn't do that. And the reason they don't is because, remember I told you earlier, Amazon doesn't like Keepa. So if you've got a software tool that you want to have listed in Amazon's official directory of software tools, it better not integrate with Keepa or they're not going to let you in. If you're pulling Keepa data, you got Keepa's API feeding your tool, you're not going to get into their catalog. The system fully integrates Keepa's API unapologetically. So what I mean by that is in real time, all of your ASINs are being monitored for certain metrics in Keepa, and it's saying, hey, time to go revisit this one again. It just hit the metrics that you had pre-identified. Hop on it. You need to buy more right now. That's what the system does. And also, the system is being built out in such a way where it's a complete workflow, meaning, for example, one of the features is you could have 2, 3, 4, 10 different virtual assistants out shopping for your online arbitrage ASINs, and none of them see what the other guys are doing, and they're all feeding them into your system, and you can track the metrics and the performance of those individual ASINs and pay the virtual assistants based on their performance, right? Kang has 2 warehouse workers and 2 or 3 virtual assistants running a $3 million, very profitable Replin's business with just the system software. Replin's dashboard, beautiful at helping you decide which of your ASINs you should buy more of, makes a suggestion how much more you should buy. It's got a lot of other features. I don't want to feature dump the 2, but I can tell you this, and Jimmy's fully on board, the creator of Replin dashboard, fully on board with this. As new students come in, we're going to teach them the system as a way to fully run their entire A to Z Replin's business. And we've got Walmart integration coming as well with the system. As much as we're encouraging people to diversify into Amazon and Walmart, it's going to run both businesses for you on the smallest possible staff. So Replin Dashboard is a tool that solves several problems. Beautiful tool. A lot of people have integrated it. We use it in our daily inventory decision, but we may move away from it at some point as we integrate, again, the comprehensive. And that's something we juggle all the time around here. As you'll see tools, you got tool A and tool B, and they overlap, the Venn diagram, like, there's some overlap in there. Like, which one do we need? What do we do? Well, one of the reasons we're putting so much time, effort, energy, and money into the system is to kind of say, hey, we got something that covers the whole gamut. We want something from A to Z that completely turns. The goal is to turn your replens business into an asset that can be passed off to anyone to manage, not just an inventory decision-making tool, not just a boxing, how to box and prep your shipments tool, not just how to make good inventory decisions based on Keep It tool, but like the full gamut. And we've got 220 people right now in final beta. If you want to see the progress, go to silentjimdotcom/the system. That's the one we're very bullish about in the future, as far as I think it's going to revolutionize e-commerce replens, the way e-commerce sellers do the replens and the online arbitrage, retail arbitrage, Walmart selling. So that's the one we're very excited about. The Replens dashboard, fantastic tool as well. If you're using it, one of the things we said is the sellers who already have pieced together a beautiful system, we're not saying shut your system off and come do this instead. No, use your system. But Kang has basically, he says, we're getting rid of all spreadsheets. I know, Andrew, you're using, you mentioned it on the podcast episode, is why I know you're okay with me mentioning it. You're using the system and playing around with it, right? So give me some of your impressions so far, having checked it out. If you don't mind, sorry to put you on the spot, but you were on the podcast today talking about this topic. So, give me a couple thoughts there. Did I leave anything out?
Well, Jim, I'm very excited for using the system, and there's a lot of great features in there, and I think we spoke about it a lot in the podcast. And I'm just wondering if we left anything out, but I really like how it takes away a lot of the spreadsheets that I'm using for my US Amazon business, and looking forward to bringing that to my Canadian Amazon business as that opens up.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, we're going to be integrating it in for Canada as well soon. Is this is Kang's full-time job now. Kang has his background as a software developer running I always get it wrong. It was an 8-figure business, I think. He always says, nope, it was 9. Whenever I say 7, he says, no, it was 8. I can't remember if it was 8 or 9 figure. It was a big business, dude. He developed the software. He owned and ran the place through the software that he developed. He is a software developing genius. So when you say, hey, it'd be nice if it did this, like half an hour later, it does that. It's a very responsive, and yeah, we're coming to Canada. We're coming to Walmart. I think it's going to revolutionize, again, the way we manage our replens businesses. And yeah, beautiful. Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate that. All right. We got any other questions popping in here?
Yeah. What course is best to teach you how to work with VAs to help find ASINs and or help run your e-com business?
I'll take this one, Robin Joy. I know I'm doing a lot of talking, but I've heard a lot of these questions. And let me just ask a more general question that covers this, okay? So I've been approached over the years, no exaggeration. These are all very specific examples of things people have asked me. They say, Jim, what we need is training for retirees on what you do here. Or Jim, what we need is training for teens on what you guys do around here. Or what we need is training for single moms on what we do here. Or what we really need is training for married couples with limited time on how to do what you do around here. Or what we need is training for virtual assistants on how to do what you do around here. And I say, what? Time out. We already got that. We got that. We got something for all those people, because the course works whether you're a teen or a retiree, or you've got a college education or you don't, or wherever you live in the world. We've got the Proven Amazon course literally works. So all you really need to do is get your virtual assistants training on the concepts in the Proven Amazon course. Learn it yourself, teach it to them, go through it together. We intentionally have not designed something that you can just say, hey, really smart person, I'm going to hire you, do this. We don't do that, because then you get to come back and blame us when it doesn't work out. No, we want you to learn it. We want you to understand the business. That's what we've built. And once you understand it, now teach it to someone else, share it with them. If you want a shared account for your virtual assistant, happy to hook you up. You can email our support team and they'll connect you with a special price so you can get the rest of your team logging in and training and learning together. But you need to learn it. So yeah, the best idea there is teach them how to do it, use the proven Amazon course training to do it, and then turn them loose in your program. And as the software tool, the system comes online, it's going to be very easy to integrate them in and just give them an access to an account as a shopper, basically, as a sourcing shopper. And they can go in, do their roles, log in, drop their ASINs in, keep track of their ASINs. They can even do the shopping for you if you'd like as well, if you want to give them that authority. So yeah, that's my answer there is we've got no special training just for VAs because it's the same training that we already have. Here's a question, Michael. Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off, and then we'll wrap it up. It says, how many hours is the Proven Amazon course? I see that it's monthly, but how can I get it up and running? Okay, a couple good questions in there, Michael. I love that you asked this. The Proven Amazon course, which I didn't really describe very adequately today, it's a library, man. Just imagine a library on virtually any and every topic you could ever possibly run into as an Amazon seller using any number of the few dozen strategies that we teach around here. So you don't start it and finish it. It's not a course that you complete someday. I often equate it to the Golden Gate Bridge, if you've ever heard the story. So it's like, the painting crew for the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, they start at one end and they paint all the way over. By the time they get to the end, they go back to where they started and start painting again because new challenges, new things to be fixed, new repairs to be made, new paint need to be applied. It's kind of like that. E-commerce is kind of like that. You're never going to get to the point where you're like, okay, I've studied and I know all I need to know. Now I get started. That's not how it works. It's an earn while you learn environment. So we start you off day one with a few steps that you need. We get your first sale. You send it in, you run into a little challenge, you go learn what you need, you start to scale, you start to implement more tools. And by this time, more doors are opening for you, more options are opening for you. You're always learning as you go. Earn while you learn. We believe in just-in-time delivery of educational content instead of just in case, which is what we're all used to, especially those of us who came through the public school system in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and into the 2000s. You got a lot of just in case education. We're going to teach you how to dissect an isosceles triangle is my favorite example, just in case you ever find yourself in need of such a skill. I'm not knocking those skills as being unnecessary or irrelevant. I'm not debating that right now, but I am saying, what if you have the opportunity to learn right what you need, right when you need it? Like the Matrix movie with Neo. He's like, hey, I'm going to have to do some Kung Fu later in the movie. How about we plug in that chip? All right, cool. Now you know Kung Fu. We kind of do that with you as you go through your e-commerce journey. So the reason you're paying a subscription is because you'll find yourself going back, sharpening your skills, enjoying the new content, enjoying the new strategies. The old stuff will get updated. You'll revisit some of the basics. We're always learning more about Keepa. And instead of nickel and diming and charging you, for every little new thing that comes along, we just keep filling the library. From time to time, we'll have major course announcements that come out. And if you just wait, those will be added at no charge to the Proven Amazon course library. So you're just paying the same amount for an ongoing education in e-commerce based on all the great ideas and trainings that are coming from, again, our team of about 100 of us that create the content. So hopefully that makes sense and helps you out, Michael. It's very much worth it. We very easily could be charging $5,000 to $8,000 for the Proven Amazon course content. Instead, we charge $39 a month, and you can quit when you need to, when you'd like to, anytime. And it's going to have everything you need in there. It's a full library.